Stanford Professor Garry Nolan went on the Good Trouble show with Matt Ford. We're going to be taking a look at some clips from that interview. I'll put a link to the full interview. Hi, I'm Patrick. This is Vetted. Let's jump in. So, Stanford Professor Garry Nolan went on the Good Trouble show. Matt Ford spoke about UAP legislation, okay, the new Schumer Amendment. That's what it's being called, and how that's hanging in the balance. The Soul Foundation event itself, right, to study UFOs and UAP. They talked about disclosure. They gave some timelines. There was some stuff that leaked. And again, there's no video of that event. Not yet. They haven't released that yet. So look, let's just jump in and take a look at a few of these clips that I have and go from there. Let's do this, y'all. All right, first clip from Fringe says, on disclosure and the Schumer Amendment being squashed. Again, that's not official yet, but that is what's floating around on Twitter, that amendment is going to get squashed. Again, just a quick reminder, it's like an advisory board that was supposed to be signed into the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2024. It was going to, basically put a panel of people who were going to look at a bunch of information of UAP stuff, right? And decide what to disclose to the public and how to disclose it. And it was going to put timelines, right, and deadlines for this stuff to happen. It included language such as, eminent domain, meaning that the government will be able to go to private aerospace companies and take from them things that they think they should have, right? Non-human craft, bodies, whatever. So apparently that the word on the street is that's going to get squashed. So let's take a look at this clip, see what he says. Can you not see what just happened in the last week and not realize that's a formal admission of truth? You have disclosure right there. You just have to read it for what it is. All right, let's see what he says.
Garry feel that disclosure will come from the government or the phenomenon itself? Is there a sense of urgency?
Let me start that over.
Does Garry feel that disclosure will come from the government or the phenomenon itself? Is there a sense of urgency to get this out to the public, would you say?
I don't think it's going to come anytime soon from the government any more than what you've already heard. But I mean, what are people looking for? I turn the question around. What are people looking for? Are you waiting for them to tell you that it's okay I mean, can you not see what just happened in the last week and presumably will be finalized tomorrow and not realize that that's a formal admission of truth? I mean, we were joking at the beginning of the hour. You've got a kid standing on a stool with his hand in the cookie jar, and turning, looking at his mother and saying, "Mommy, I'm not taking these cookies. I'm just counting them." I mean, that's what you just saw happen. I mean, so you really have you have disclosure right there. You just have to read it for what it is. Again, I never have needed anybody's permission to come to the right conclusion. So, the NHI have been disclosing themselves to people all over the planet for thousands of years. So they're not going to change their tune, I think, right. Even absent, I think, what Chris Mellon was talking about in his talk. I don't think the government has disclosed as much as it dares at this point.
The NHI have been disclosing themselves for thousands of years. Wow. I mean, if you think about it, that is true. Okay. And I've talked about this on the channel before. You got little d disclosure and big D disclosure, right? Little d disclosure is just that. The non-human intelligence disclosing themselves, right? They don't need to wait on the government or the U.S. government or some representative from Alabama or whatever to, right? They can disclose themselves whenever they want. And then you've got whistleblowers coming out, people telling their stories, all the eyewitnesses, right? Millions of accounts over the years, over decades, over thousands of years, as Garry Nolan is stating. That's a little d disclosure. Big D disclosure would be the government putting out a press release or a press conference and saying, this is real, this is what's going on, right? And this is what we have. This is the information we have. But we don't need them to disclose that this is real to us. What we're looking for the government to do is to disclose what they have, right, and what they've been doing. But to disclose if the phenomena is real or not, And I think that's what Garry Nolan's getting at. We don't need the government for that. You could read between the lines. You could see what's happening, the different whistleblowers, the videos, the photos, the eyewitness, the studies, right? There's so much smoke, right? So again, and if you've had a personal experience, then it's been disclosed to you already. All right, let's jump on to the next clip here. From Andreas Wedenberg. Mitch McConnell went to Schumer and said, it's over, it's out. Garry Nolan on the Schumer amendment right now. So basically, again, talking about this Schumer amendment, right? The UAP legislation, the UAP amendment. I also heard this in the interview. And it's funny because Garry Nolan just says it and Matt's like, oh, really? That's what's going on? I didn't know that. And Gary's like, yeah, that's the word on the street. What are you talking about? All right, here we go.
Major aerospace corporation. Why would lobbyists for the major aerospace corporations bring major pressure to bear such that Mitch McConnell went to Schumer and said, it's over, it's out. And that
he did.
You have, well, that's the word on the street.
Wow.
Why would lobbyists for the major...
Yeah, we didn't know that, Gary. So Mitch McConnell goes to Schumer and said, it's over, it's out. It's just a couple $1 million. That's what David Grush said. That's the budget they're looking for. Again, I don't know why anybody's not talking about that. It's just a couple $1 million. It's not a huge budget. I mean, the fact we don't have money for this is crazy. I did read somewhere on Twitter that they were talking about that why would they need Arrow and this, right? So that Arrow's kind of getting in the way, potentially, that's a reason. It's not some nefarious reason. They're just like, we're double spending here. You know, we're double dipping. Doesn't make sense for us to have Arrow and this new advisory panel. So, let's watch another clip here.
The shadow biome, or this video that you saw, can you describe what was in those images?
No.
Got it. Okay, moving on. This is a really great question.
To me, clear evidence of life.
Understood.
Clear evidence of life, of non-human life. I mean, that's just crazy, right? There you go. There's your disclosure right there. I mean, you just have people saying it out in the open right now. And I think people are just like, what, is this really happening? Are people just saying this? Is this real? Is this what's going on? Right? That's what it seems like. It just seems too surreal. It seems too odd. Right? For people to bring it up. So this is Garry Nolan on the Good Trouble Show. I'm going to read this out. What we do know is that it's very unlikely it's going to be brought up again anytime soon. So that's Garry Nolan talking about any Schumer-like legislation. So basically, if this gets shot down, don't expect anything anytime soon. That's not good news. Blank referenced a plan B. So this person, is there a plan B? And if so, is that something you can discuss? Nolan, there's no immediate plan B that I'm aware of. I mean, I think we're still in plan A. I mean, plan A is just to keep pushing forward. There might be an unexpected plan B, which is somebody from within decades, somebody from within decides to break their oaths and come out, or release information through some serendipitous means so that they don't get in trouble. I think that would be a disaster. I'm not advocating for that in any way, shape, or form. I am, this information that we're sharing the planet with something non-human needs to come out now. If somebody on the inside decides to risk it and can avoid getting in trouble legally, this community will support them 100%. Isn't that what David Grush is doing? Nolan, that's the kind of unexpected disclosure that I thought that Carl Nell was quite professionally and appropriately trying to product against. I think they've heightened the risk of that occurring by basically blocking the UAP amendment as it stands today. I understand that it's being whittled down to there will only be the internal organs of government, which previously were doing things the way they were doing them, but it's just a little more formalized. So even if they manage to get that in and passed as a law, it will be put UAP on the record in the law in a way that even Arrow doesn't accomplish right now. I think small steps are what's going to be important here. I'm not disheartened. If anything, I'm motivated. No one ever succeeds if they run away at the first failure. I mean, that's true. So look, many things could happen with the Schumer Amendment. It gets shot down completely. It gets rewritten, right, and gutted, or it gets passed as it's meant to be passed, right? And then from there, would they try again next year? Right? Would they try something different? So there's a lot of different avenues this can go. It's not over yet, y'all. Got to keep the hope. Matt, is the Biden administration pro-disclosure and in support of the Schumer Amendment? Nolan. I'll repeat what Grush said on Rogan. Although he hasn't spoken to anybody at the top level in the Biden administration, anybody with half a brain knows that Schumer would not have put something like that forward during a major election year that could be used to bat him about the head with, or the Democrats about the head with. So it, of course, went out with tacit approval of the Biden administration. Hang on. What we do know is that it's very unlikely it's going to be brought up again anytime soon, because we have an election year coming up and we have all the tumult in the world going on. And so while I never like the argument that we have better things to do, there's only so many things that can be really paid attention to and put as a top priority in any legislative session. This was our chance for this year, but I'm still a young man. So, just saying. And then right here, he puts, to reiterate, at Seoul on day 2, Tim Godelet said, paraphrasing, Sean Kirkpatrick can't do and say things without approval from the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, or head of ODNI, Avril Haines, and National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan. White House policy is they don't want to disclose, and Kirkpatrick is following their lead. If I wrote that down wrong, TG can correct me. The video will hopefully be out soon. So there you go. There you go. And yes, that is the word on the street, guys, that this is going to get shot down, this Schumer Amendment. But again, could be gutted, could be put out as something different. We don't entirely know. So what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Curious. I'll put a link to the full interview with Garry Nolan on the Good Trouble Show. It's a good interview. Again, check it out. Love Garry Nolan. And it's a good interview to listen to. So looking forward to see what happens with the Schumer Amendment, y'all. Something's going to happen soon, because it's got to be signed by the end of the month of December. So we'll know here this week. All right, guys, that's me, Patrick with Vetted. It's another video. We'll see you on tomorrow's video. Again, remember, new videos every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, USA. Thank you again for all the support. If you haven't already, hit that like button, comment down below, and please subscribe. We need it. Thank you guys again for the support. Remember, every day's a gift. I'm Patrick with Vetted. Peace.